Thank you for joining the City of Kingston's Common Council at our Finance and Audit meeting. Today is Wednesday, September 9th. My name is Andrea Schott, the Council President and organizer for our virtual meetings. Before we begin, we would like to go over a few guidelines to help us navigate this system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Council members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a council member or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hands. The chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website. Although we will not have public speaking tonight, you could sign up to speak at our council meeting by emailing Elisa Tinty at emtinty@kingston-ny.gov by 2 p.m. on October 6th. Or you could submit written comments to the same email address, emtinty@kingston-ny.gov, or by dropping them off at the drop box located outside the side door of City Hall. We also encourage you to reach out to committee chairs or your ward's representative at any time. If you have any audio issues, send a text message to the following number, 845-594-6120. Please note that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number to text is 845-594-6120. As the organizer, I've reserved the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately. Lastly, at tonight's meeting, we have in attendance Chair Alderman Doug Koop, committee members, Alderman Steve Shabbat, Alderwoman Michelle Hirsch, Alderman Rennie Scott Childress, and Alderman Tony Davis. City staff, we have Comptroller John Toohey, Corporation Counsel Kevin Bryant, City Engineer John Schulteis, and City Clerk Elisa Tinty. Thank you for your patience during these difficult times, and on behalf of the Common Council, I wish you and your family good health. I'll turn the floor to Chair Alderman Doug Koop.
Okay, thank you, President Schutt. This is Douglas Koop, Alderman, Ward 2, Chair of Finance and Audit Committee. Moving to the agenda, we have 5 items on the agenda tonight, of which 2 I find to be very similar. So I'm going to skip over item 2 because I think that's covered in an item in old business. They seem to the reports seem to read almost identical. The first item on the agenda is a request from the mayor for a discussion about the county's wish to acquire a parcel of land owned by the city of Kingston by eminent domain. This is a small piece of land that runs along the rail trail between the Kingston Plaza and Elmendorf, the bridge at Elmendorf. I don't have any more information on that. I'm not sure what the reason why the county wants to purchase this. I would ask any of the council members, do you have any more information on this than I do? Can you shed any light on this? Yeah, yes, Alderman Shabbat.
Actually, I really don't have any information, but I was presuming when I read it that they want to take it over by eminent domain. They were looking to just take it from us. Are they intending to buy it from us, or do they just want us to turn it over to them?
Well, I think it's the latter. From reading the mayor's letter, I think they want us to turn it over. I surmise that because he says, quote, the lot has minimal value.
Right.
And knowing that
property,
I've been riding a bike along there a number of times. I don't know what value it has, but I may be wrong in that. But other than that, I have no more information on it, and I don't know what the timing is, and there's no committee report on this. Yes, Steve?
Yeah, well, the same as you, I read it over, and I mean, it's just lacking in so many details that, I really have no idea, what we should do with it. I mean, I don't even know what we would be discussing. What are they using it for? How much property is there? I mean, there's a lot of questions involved here, which I don't see many answers.
Yeah, looking at the map, it's a very small slice of footage that just seems to run along that rail trail. And other than that, I don't know the why or the where for that. And if timing was important, I would think the mayor would have been here, or someone would have been here to give us more information on it, and maybe even a committee report asking us to vote on it. So I would just say we should, for the moment, John Schulteis, please.
Thanks, Doug. This is John Schulteis. I would suggest you ask Kevin Bryant to give a little background, and after he does so, I might be able to offer a little background as well.
Okay, great. Kevin?
Okay, as you're aware, we have the linear trail, and there are parcels. The county is pursuing eminent domain. There were a number of parcels that are landlocked, and because this trail is going to be funded by the state, any encumbrances they want taken care of. So if there are any issues whatsoever, they have to be resolved in order for the funding to take place. So the portion apparently lies in a rail trail. It's a 10,000 square foot portion that's unused. As a matter of fact, the city acquired it originally as a result of the village of Kingston obtaining it somewhere like 1870. And so since it's no longer being used as a rail trail, according to a title report, it shows that it actually reverts back to the original owner. This property has no use. It's not being used by the city. Eventually, the city will be providing maintenance for the trail within the city of Kingston. And it's the mayor's recommendation that this be sold to the county for $1. It has insignificant value. It has approximately, according to an appraisal, somewhere around a $600 value. Again, it's not a significant value, and it's the recommendation of the mayor that this be conveyed to the county. And so,
why do they want it?
Because in order for them to get the funding, the state requires that any encumbrances, any issues relative to title, if you want funding, and that's pretty consistent with a lot of state projects, they don't necessarily want to invest money in something that there could be an adverse interest in. And so that's consistent with the way the state does things. And so the county has to clear up the title issues.
Okay. Steve Chavit, comment, please.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not quite sure, from looking at the maps and reading the letter. So is this piece of property, is it adjoining the rail trail? Is it part of the rail trail? Is it, I guess, is it just something that was kind of overlooked when we started this project, or is it something separate from what's already been done?
It's just,
you understand what I'm saying?
It's a small portion that lies within the railroad tracks and has the old railroad track area. It has no other purpose. And so when, there are projects that there's going to be federal or state funding for, there has to be title searches done of any and all affected parcels within whatever given project that there is. And so when issues come up in title reports, they have to be addressed if, in fact, it's going to comply with whatever state grants or funding that's available. And so, a lot of things will develop and will be discovered during the process. And these are some of them. So apparently there are 11 throughout this area. There are 11 particular small portions of property that this is being done with.
Well, Kevin, are we going to see a committee report asking us to vote on this and to transfer it? I'm not sure what action we are to take this evening.
Yes, there should be a committee report for that. Yes.
So are we to table this until next month?
I don't think it's necessary. There could be a committee report prepared for you to sign authorizing the sale of the property in question. You can discuss it now. You can sign it if you want to. It's your call at this point, but it's really that's what the ask is going to be, authorizing the sale of that landlocked parcel for which the city has no other use.
Well, President Schott, followed by Alderwoman Hirsch. Andrea?
Sorry, I was worried more about my mask than the mute. I apologize. I'm actually speaking for Tony. Tony, do you want to ask your questions now? I think he heard the answers. It was the lot is 10,000 square feet, correct?
Correct. It's like 10,000.
And then,
it's a little less than,
okay,
yeah.
and then his other question was,
Can you hear me now?
oh, there he is. Tony, you want to ask a question? Yes.
Yep. So it's 10,000 square feet. And what does the county plan on using this land for? Do we know?
This is just going to be along the area of the trail. I don't know if there's something specific they're doing with it, but I know they're trying to have whatever property along the side of it going along the sides of the trail.
And Kevin, you mentioned that there was 11 more properties that's all on this trail that just going to come back to, or is that some different areas?
So the proceedings that they brought identify 11 parcels.
11 parcels along that and park.
Along the trail, along the entirety of the trail.
And so they're not willing to pay, and the value of the lot, they're not willing to pay for that, the value.
It is the mayor's recommendation that this be conveyed to the county for $1.
All right, those are the questions I had as of right now.
Michelle Hirsch, please.
Hi, this is Alderwoman Hirsch. So the piece of property, this one piece which goes under the Elmendorf Bridge, is that correct? Like I see the bridge, but I just want to confirm.
That is my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. Schulteis, is there something you want to add to this? Your microphone.
So I'm only asking because I received a call from a constituent because I'm on finance. He's not my ward, but he suggested that we build up the rail trail and not have a bridge. So I just wanted to let you know, John. Thanks.
John, was there something you want to say?
Yeah. Hi, it's
John
John.
Schulteis, please.
Yeah, John Schulteis. So the piece of property in question, the 10,400 square foot piece, is not directly under Elmendorf Street, but a little bit to the northwest. It's about halfway between Elmendorf and Albany Avenue on the rail trail itself. And the city, my office, and I think DPW had no record that this was a city-owned piece or a piece of land that the city had any interest in. So when the county came to the city with this, we were kind of surprised, but apparently a title search did turn up an old interest or possible interest, as Kevin said, going back to the days of the village of Kingston. If you go to the Ulster County parcel mapper, for example, it does not show a parcel at this location or ownership by the city. So I think it's just a matter of a very detailed title search having been done. There's some possible remaining interest of the city that we would have inherited from the village of Kingston many years ago, and my department looked at it to see if there was any current or future use for the city, and we concluded that there was not.
Tony Davis here.
Steve Chabot, please, followed by Tony Davis.
Thank you.
Steve Chabot, please. Steve Chabot.
Yes. So, yeah, I just want to make sure, that I have this correct. So this is really more a point of procedure than they want to do something with it. I mean, it sounds in all likelihood it's just going to be next to the trail. The county's not going to necessarily put anything there, but it's just a procedural point that they have to obtain this property. Is that fair to say?
I think he's addressing that to you, Kevin.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to turn my mic back on. It's something that comes up in the title report, and it's my understanding that the state is requiring this for the funding.
Okay. Tony Davis,
Okay.
You have a question?
Yes. So does this have any historical value to it, John? You're saying you did this with the old, that you said when you guys did the title search or whatever, looking at the maps, and this is part of the old.
Yeah. It's John Schulteis. No, there's no known historical resources within this piece of land. It is centered. The trail itself does pass through this land, so that, as I understand it, having seen the county's construction plans, they plan to install blacktop pavement on the current trail alignment, and that blacktop would be passing, would be partly on this parcel.
And then is that why that's why they're seeking eminent domain, because they need to have this, they need to own this in order to get the money to fund this blacktopping? Is that why, that's why there's regard to the state?
Yeah.
So the state is providing money to blacktop this, but in order to do that, they have to make sure that there's the titles to it.
It's a common requirement of grant-funded projects that you have to demonstrate, ownership and control of the project site before you expend the grant funds.
And now one other follow-up question is whoever can answer this. Isn't the city of Kingston going to be responsible for the maintenance of this entire trail?
That is my understanding.
Proposed. Yeah, that's proposed, but not yet in place.
All right. So my recommendation and my feeling is that, and if we're going to be required to maintain this into the domain, I would like to see us receive more money for this. And then on top of this, you're saying there's going to be 11 other parcels and that are going to be affected, and they're going to keep on coming back. And that's my only concern.
Of the 11 parcels, the only one that's potentially owned by the city is this one. Others are other owners.
I'm sorry, Tony, if you misunderstood what I was saying. No, that's not 11 parcels within the city of Kingston.
That's owned by this one particular piece of parcel is in the city of Kingston. That the city of Kingston has the responsibility.
And according to the appraisal that has been submitted to the court, the value of the property is somewhere around $600.
Michelle Hirsch, you have a question? Followed by Rennie Scott Childress.
I'm just curious, John, or if anyone knows, does the county still plan on building the stairways from the trail up to the streets like Elmendorf and Albany Avenue?
It's John Schulteis. So, the latest plans I've seen from the county do show staircase, and also to your earlier mention, your constituent's not the first one to suggest we raise the trail on fill rather than reconstruct a bridge at this location. We're actually in the process of evaluating proposals from engineering firms for the bridge repair or replacement. And at least one of the consultants that we're considering has suggested that as another possibility also.
Great, thank you.
If that was to happen, then the staircases would be deleted from the project,
Rennie Scott Childress, please.
Thanks. So it sounds like the mayor's $1 proposition is a kind of goodwill gesture as opposed to trying to get the full $600. And, in the scope of things, not that much money. That seems to be the reasoning here. Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Tony Davis.
Andrea Schott, please. Andrea.
Tony Davis.
Tony Tony, you want to go first and then I'll go?
My only concern is that, not only is the city going to be reliable or responsible for maintaining this whole linear park, and that is, the county's now running, but also, we got to consider now that we have another cost in reconstruction of the Elmendorf Bridge, and so my only concern is that if we have a piece of land here and that we get as much value from it as possible.
Yeah, that's actually kind of my point. Same thing, Tony, is with the maintenance. I believe that is county is maintaining it currently. So if that is going to be a switch, that now the city is going to be maintaining all of this, then it's, a lot more than just the 10,000 square feet that they're going to be taking on, that we're going to be taking on to a cost.
Again, Tony Davis here. Not that it's a lot of money, but in this economic times, we should be trying to get as much fair value for any property that we, that property as much as possible.
Rainey?
Well, two things. One is, to some degree, the benefits of the rail trail in this part of Kingston redound to Kingston, less so to the county, because people will be coming to use this section. It's people in the city who will be using this section. The other thing is that this is going in anyway. This is just kind of mopping up some of the legal details. But then the other, my question here is for Kevin. I see that we're eminent domain, which to me suggests that the county is in the driver's seat here, or do we have any real power to ask for $600?
If you want to have a discussion of the legal proceedings and where it puts us, that'll be a discussion to take place during the attorney-client session.
Okay.
Michelle?
I'll leave it up to the other folks to decide if they want to do that.
I'm just curious what the Sharps burial ground is that's listed on here. Anybody know what that is?
I kind of sense from the discussion here that we have no problem with going forth with the mayor's request, whether it's for $1 or $600 may be something to be discussed. but lacking a specific committee report that we can vote on. And it seems to me that this needs to be tabled till we have such a document. It doesn't sound to me like timing is of the essence on this thing. Am I incorrect on that?
I don't know about the timing, and I just realized Kevin was about to talk, so I apologize for jumping in. But the committee report, you could just say what is going to go on the committee report, and we can get it done if you don't have a copy of one.
Yeah,
so you
so
could just specifically state what it would be on the committee report here. We could then get it sent up digitally, so we can still move forward without a committee report. Sorry, in terms of the timing of this, if this is time of the essence, that I think Kevin was about to answer, maybe.
I don't know if time is of the essence, but we could actually come up with the simple language that you can vote on, and Elisa could prepare it tomorrow morning. And it could be something as simple as authorizing the sale of the property located at tax ID, which I have, on the Midtown Linear Park to Ulster County for the amount of whatever, $1.
And then how do we vote on that? How and when?
So you would vote on it, and it would be, it's obviously recorded here, and it would be memorialized tomorrow morning in the committee report.
Michelle?
Could we table it to get more information, some of these questions, and then like do a special meeting like right before caucus, or?
That's not a bad idea unless, yeah, I don't sense timing is of the essence. So if we put this off to a future, maybe not next month, but a special, this will take a 15-minute meeting prior to caucus. That sound all right, Kevin?
It's up to you guys, whatever you deem appropriate. I have a problem if there are specific questions that you have that you're looking for, and if you want me to try and provide it, let me know.
Yeah, I'd like to see a specific document that says exactly what we're going to do.
Who's going to do?
What the city's going to do.
Relative to the park, all right.
Right. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I don't object to that plan. However, what information are we looking at in order to move forward with this? I think Michelle said, table it or have a special meeting in order to get some more information. But what more information are we looking at? I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Your opinion on it is maybe not so clear. This is a procedural item that the county needs. I'm not sure what else can be provided, for us to make a decision on this. I mean, I think we've, other than the amount of money possibly, the maintenance is going to be an issue further down the road. I don't think this has anything to do with the maintenance. But I don't mind, moving this to before caucus, but I'm not quite sure what information we're going to get that's going to be helpful to us at this point.
Rennie, please.
Yeah, I agree with the direction Steve was going in. I think the only question here is $1 versus $600. And, that's a question to some degree to get a little bit more. I mean, I guess the question there would be, what's the mayor's rationale for the symbolic $1 as opposed to the actual value of $600? I mean, to a certain degree, it's just not that much money. It's not, it would be something if we were talking about a household's daily budget, but in terms of the size of this project and what the city's getting out of it, it seems to me like this is a pretty small amount of money.
Well, yeah, Steve Shabbat.
Yeah, like Rennie said, the money really isn't, I don't think that's, a real big item, for us to get a few $100s as opposed to I don't know, a favor. It is going to benefit the city, I think, probably more so than the county. And it's property. It sounds like we will never be able to use, in any way, shape, or form where it's located. So, I don't really have a problem with the money. Hey, if we can get more, if the county wants to say, okay, we'll throw you a few $100s for this, I don't have a problem with that either. But I'm not quite sure how much more information we're going to get here.
Okay, it seems to me we have two options. One is we right here now could make a motion to accede to the mayor's request to sell this to the county for $1, second it and vote on it, or we could table it to a special meeting, pre-caucus meeting. So what would be your pleasure?
Tony, get there.
Tony is stuck.
Tony?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, and I apologize about the technical difficulty here today, because I'm not able to see the map and all that kind of stuff here. And but and listening to some of my other colleagues, the significance that the city is going to get out of this versus a couple more $100. I don't want to hold this up in that case here. I believe this is a good project. It will benefit the more or less the residents of the city of Kingston, and I don't want to hold it up to see if maybe if the county is going to give us $100, $200 more. I can see if it's some thousands maybe, but I don't want to hold it up for that. And I apologize again that I can't see the map and everything else. So I'm still trying to work on my computer here.
Andrea?
Yeah, just procedurally, you could move forward on this now, and then you still have a few weeks before caucus and council. So if there's still outstanding questions, you can a committee member could still ask, or a non-committee member could still get more answers. But it's at least taking the first step. So that's just another option, or part of the option, I guess.
So can someone make a motion to move forward on this, to transfer this to the city for $1? Rennie? Rennie, is that a motion? Is there a second? Okay, motion by Rennie Scott Childress, second by Steve Shabbat. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? No, it's 5-0.
So do you want me to read the language of what the proposed committee report will be?
Yes.
Authorizing the sale of the property tax ID number 48-80-1-31.111 on the Midtown Linear Rail Trail to Ulster County in the amount of $1.
Okay, we can back up. Randy, you want to make the motion based upon that description? A second by Steve Shabbat. All in favor? Tony?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Let's move forward to the third item, which is a budget transfer within engineering associated with what I believe is the retirement of probably Alan Naden, right? John?
Yes, that's right.
After only 34 years. Amazing. Okay. So it's a transfer of $3,000 from regular pay into overtime pay. Unless anyone has a problem with this, I'll entertain a motion for this. Andrew, you have a question?
No, just a technical thing. Tony, are you still there?
I'm still here. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I broke up.
All right, yeah, you just
What is
called
the
it a
transfer
different
for?
number. So,
What's the transfer for?
all right, Tony's still here. I was just making sure you were still here.
Okay, John, you
Yeah,
want to
but I'm
describe the transfer?
Yes, I didn't hear the transfer. What is it for?
John, would you please?
Yeah, this is Doug, as you mentioned, my department is 4 employees, including myself, one of which, Alan Aiden, is retiring on October 2nd after 34 years of service to the city. So that's a very significant decrease in my workforce happening there to go from 4 employees to 3. And with our workload, I anticipate that we'll utilize comp time to the extent possible, but we'll be working enough extra hours that we'll need some overtime. Of course, when I made my budget request last year at this time, there's no overtime requested because I was not able to foresee this decrease in my workforce. And so I'm asking for enough overtime, not for myself, but for my 2 hourly or salaried employees to cover some of Alan's duties until we can get a replacement.
I'll read the Rennie.
So I don't see, is this going to have zero financial impact? I don't see in my documents here a
Yes.
report.
Yes.
The committee report, John sent it over today. I'll read it.
Okay.
The request is to add overtime in the engineering budget due to staff leaving and remaining staff needing to work the extra hours. So transfer $3,000 from regular pay, transfer that $3,000 into overtime pay, zero financial impact. Right, John? Yeah. Motion for that? Steve Chabot, second by Rennie Scott Childress. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Okay, thank you. Okay.
While we're waiting on that, Michelle, Sharp's burial ground is that cemetery that's on 32. So as you go over the bridge on Albany Avenue, you're going over the bridge, and then on the right, if you're heading toward the mall and Lake Katrine, there's a burial ground there. That's Sharp's burial ground.
Right. Okay. Next to that house that says Camelot.
It's up on the hill. You don't see, it's up on the hill, so it's not any part of the land that would be conveyed.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, moving on to old business is the item of tow truck fees. Now, as you recall, at our last meeting, Dan Lewis, owner of a tow company, was with us, and he took it upon himself that he was going to work with his colleagues to come up with recommendations to changes in the fee structure, and then come back to me. Since that time, I've not heard or received anything, and I know, Andrea, I believe you invited him to the meeting tonight. I think we have nothing here on which to act at the moment.
That's correct. I invited her back. I invited him, but I sent him a link, I should say, not necessarily invited him, but I hadn't heard from him.
I have not heard from him either. So I will tickle that and try and see where he is on that. But at the moment, I think we have nothing really to discuss or act upon. So I propose that we just move forward on this, on the agenda. Okay, the last item on the agenda, short of John Tui's report, is an interdepartmental transfer from wastewater treatment.
I'm sorry, Doug?
Yeah.
There are 2 different budget transfers from wastewater treatment. Those are actually, I know it looks the same, but the numbers are different. They're two separate things.
Yeah,
One
and
is
that's
new
what I
business.
want to I agree. They clarify, I want to, they seem to be almost identical with the exception of a couple numbers. So I'm hoping Kevin can unravel this for us. There are two transfers within wastewater treatment plant. One is for $10,150, of which $10,000 is for current and future legal fees associated with Ashland. And for this, we asked additional information last month, and Kevin did respond to that. The other from wastewater treatment is $11,000, which is the $10,000 plus $1,000 for wastewater minor equipment. So this seems to be a duplicitous. Is that a word?
TIV.
I think so. Check with the professor.
Duplicative.
In other words, there's a difference of $850 in there for wastewater minor equipment. Which is it?
This question is to me?
Or anyone? Yeah, you can.
I don't know John, can you answer it? Because I don't know exactly what the issue is in terms of all the money that they may be seeking. I was just asked specifically about the current legal situation with Ashland, and that's the only thing that I can speak on. I can't.
I understand. Not a problem. John, do you have a comment? John Tooley?
I believe they were two separate transfers related to the same issue based upon invoices that they were presented with. The timing was different by one was just recent September, which that one there, I'm not sure the timing of that. That was a late communication, right? Then you have the other one. I looked at the accounts. I think you can put them both through. There are no financial impact. They're internal, and the money would be going from their own accounts to the consultant account to cover legal costs.
But if we pass both of these, doesn't that mean we're passing on $20,000 for
You're putting $20,000 into that line item. I don't have in front of me what bills they've been presented with.
Well, one committee report asked for $10,000 for legal fees associated with Ashland and $1,000 for wastewater minor equipment.
Right. So let me walk you through one at a time. As of right now, they are $4,000 overspent in the consultant account. So I believe that the $20,000 is to cover the current overage and anticipate costs through the end of the year. The transfer the letter dated September 4th moves money from $10,000 of regular pay into that consultant line, and it's moving $1,000 from one contractual line into another equipment line to cover shortfalls in that account. And the July, all right, flipping back and forth between these transfers.
Okay, one request is from July 15th.
Yes.
For $10,000 for Ashland legal related fees and $150 for some equipment.
Mm-hmm.
The one on September 2nd asked for an additional $10,000 legal fees plus $1,000 for equipment.
Right.
And that's
so
confusing to me. Are we really asking for $20,000
for legal fees?
They're
already overspent $4,000 in that account. The attorney's work, as Kevin mentioned earlier, is ongoing. If they only transfer $10,000, they have $6,000 left for the remainder of the year. Based upon the invoices that they've been receiving, that may not be sufficient.
So you're saying $20,000 is needed to cover the present invoices and whatever else may come?
I'm saying that that's what they requested, and I believe that that's based upon anticipation of what they are going to need to close out through the end of the year. I mean, just a reminder, we do encourage our departments to try to get budget transfers in advance before they're overspent. So when I did speak with Alan Winchell in the past, I've asked him to do that, to anticipate what he may need for legal expenses and other expenses. Certainly, if you do one $10,000 transfer, that'll at least get them out of the red for now. But in all likelihood, you're going to need more.
Well, Kevin, you wrote me a note on this when we inquired about the Ashland. Can you summarize that note to me? You said the main case is resolved, but Ashland has recently filed a notice of appeal with respect to the judge's decision on attorney fees. The judge determined we were the more successful and entitled to a greater proportion of legal fees. So I don't have a complete understanding of all this.
So they don't like the judge's determination relative to the award of attorney's fees. So because they don't like it, they are put in their notice of appeal. So they, at this point, based on their notice of appeal, that appears what they're going to do. So based on that, not to mention the fact that you still have unresolved issues relative to the equipment, we still have the pelletizer, as well as the shed that it's housed under, still located at our facility. So you still have some ongoing issues. So with everything said, as I said in the bottom of that email, his request is justified, in my opinion.
John, you concur with that? John Toohey?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what I'm looking at, they spent $14,000. I know the legal work is ongoing. They haven't been invoiced since April, so that's the last invoice we have processed in the system. So I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that they're going to be getting some, if they haven't already received some larger invoices. If someone wants to consult with the treatment plant to see what they have outstanding for invoices, I can certainly send them an email to see what they have sitting there as of right now, if that makes you feel more comfortable. But currently, they're over $4,000 overspent. I would expect that they're going to need more than the $10,000.
Okay. Well, as I say it, if the controller and the corporate counsel are feeling comfortable with this and recommending that this is the direction we go, and I have no problem with going along with this if someone wants to make a motion to that effect. Well, actually, you don't have to make a motion. We've got two committee reports. So let me read the earlier one, which from old business goes back to July 15th. This is to transfer a total of $10,150. $10,000 is from pump stations regular pay into wastewater consultants, and $150 is to wastewater minor equipment. Is there a motion on this one? Randy?
Motion. Motion.
Question? Who had a question?
I didn't have a question. I was motion.
Tony, go ahead.
Motioning. Yeah. I was not questioning it. I was motion. You asked for a motion. I said yes.
Is that a second?
Yes.
This is a second.
Wait, who seconded it?
I am seconding it.
Okay. Motion by Randy Scott Childress, second by Anthony Davis. All in favor? Tony?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. let's see, that was, Randy, you made the, okay, and then moving to the second committee report, which is dated September 2nd, transfer of $11,000. The makeup of that is $10,000 from regular stations, $10,000 from pump stations regular pay into current and future legal fees associated with Ashland, and $1,000 from pump stations into wastewater minor equipment. $11,000.
Motion.
Who said, Tony Davis? Okay.
Motion. Yep.
Second, Rennie Scott Childress. All in favor? Tony?
If I motion it, that means I'm approving it.
Okay, right. I just want to hear it. Okay, the motion passed 5-0. That completes, short of John Tui's, the controller's report, that completes the new business and old business. So John, do you want to give us let us know where we are this month, please?
Sure. Thank you, Doug. I emailed out a short while ago. I apologize. It was a little later in the afternoon. I was back-to-back budget meetings today. Gave you an update on the normal financial update for the general fund regular finance, as well as the COVID update. At this point, I've modified some of our COVID estimates. I'm sorry, I'm looking on one screen while talking on the other. The overall estimated losses improved again. I think if you looked at kind of stacked report to report from month to month, you'll see some gradual improvement with each report. We received notice today of our next sales tax distribution will be down. I say just 7.4% over the prior year. Back on August 24th, that was the last update. The last sales tax check prior to this one was down 4.31%. There was also a check on August 18th that was down 11.87%. So those are the last three checks that's noted in the report I sent you. Cumulatively, year over year, we're down 7.73%. So you'll see the estimated financial losses for sales tax are range between $678,000 and $2 million. Once again, we're trying to be conservative here. Those numbers improve every month. We're still, we don't know what's going to happen this fall with the virus, and when businesses potentially, outdoor dining stops and things of that nature could impact some of those inflows. So once again, I think the high loss estimate is extremely conservative, but each of those loss estimates each month are improving, and year over year, the high loss estimate now for all revenues would leave our fund balance around 8.84% without taking into account any normal variances in the budget. The low loss estimate would leave us just under 15%. So I'm happy to say that each month we are improving. I did adjust the property tax. The revenue collection has been strong. We're now projecting a smaller loss on property taxes. We've adjusted some of the other as well. Some went up a little bit. Investment interest or losses, we adjusted those. The other revenues we've adjusted. But overall, if you look at the projected fund balance numbers, the low loss at 14.81%, the high loss at 8.84%, they are better than they were a month ago. And a month ago, they were better than the month before. So hopefully we can continue to report that to you. There's also a sales tax. I've mentioned the sales tax charts in the packet. And overall, we're holding the line on spending. Through July, we're only at 49.2% spent of the general fund. So we're more than halfway through the year at July 31st, but we'd spent less than half of the budget. I gave you a whole list of accounts where we're positive. The only significant negative at this point is the retirement accumulation accounts. These are the payouts, the separation of service. Those will be funded through contingency as the departments submit their transfers. There are also the funding of a contract. We have a transfer to put in for that. There's also some of the virus-related expenses that ran through the mayor's line that we're hopeful will be reimbursed through FEMA. I've given you some updates on the investment balances, and the contingency balance is still at $990,535. Does anybody have any questions for me? No.
John, what
No,
I hear you saying is that the COVID situation is getting less bad.
Yes. Yeah. Right. We've projected, like our estimates at this point, we still project the loss from state aid. We've received no notice on that. So there's still some question marks out there. I mean, overall, two of the what I would call the three big ticket items, being sales tax, property tax, and state aid. Two of the three are the sales tax and the property tax are doing better than what we had projected, at least, once again, we had very little data to begin with. As we collect more data, we update those projections. At this point, the sales tax is certainly trending towards the low to middle side of my projections. I try to keep a range there in case things do turn around for the worst. But as you can see with the charts, the collection's been pretty good, and that's really the data that we have to go on. The property tax, I see each month that we're, catching up to where we were last year. That is a positive. And, state aid, once again, we're not going to know for a little while. We expect the second quarter state update would be at the end of this month, where hopefully we'll hear more from the state as to what's happening with the distributions on the AIM money. But once again, in our estimates here, we've projected a 20% loss.
Rennie, question?
Yeah, John, how's the early retirement program going?
It's we had a handful of people who took it. It was a small amount. I can't say that it's totally unanticipated. We put a program out there, and we've had a few individuals take advantage of it. I think there's some hesitation with, you've heard talks, or there's some scuttlebutt about whether or not the state is going to put out their own retirement plan, and people wonder whether or not the state's going to do something that's more attractive than what the city was going to put out. To date, we've heard nothing verifying any state retirement plan. I'm not overly optimistic that there's going to be one coming soon. Without doing something on the health insurance side, I wasn't overly optimistic that we'd get a lot with this incentive. I knew we'd get some, but once again, the city's retiree health insurance package is already, I think favorable compared to a lot of municipalities. So I don't know that we had as much leeway as other locales in that area. That's just my professional opinion.
Other questions for John? John, Michelle.
John, Tony Davis here. I just want to thank you for keeping us updated every month on these figures, and it looks like we're starting to trend towards a little bit more positive way. And I know we got a long ways to go, but thank you for keeping us updated on these figures.
You're welcome, Tony. It's interesting times where I find where I get notification of a sales tax distribution. It's only a single-digit loss from the prior year, and I'm actually happy.
Michelle, you have a comment, question?
Yeah, I had a my hand up earlier and I was going to ask about the state aid, but John already addressed that. But I was just curious, how the parking is doing now that we're charging for parking again.
That is a very good question. I don't have data on that yet, Michelle. It started out okay when we first got up and running. We were just doing warning tickets until Labor Day. So what we typically find is, warning tickets will help get money into meters for a period of time, but then the effectiveness of those warning tickets wear off. So what we were seeing is, the revenue was slipping as the warning tickets were going out. No real tickets were landing on windshields. So now that we're back up in ticketing, I can't tell you it's not aggressive ticketing. We're trying to, be very, mindful of the situation that our business community and the public find themselves in. But we are issuing regular parking tickets now, meter tickets. So I think over the next several weeks, we'll get a better idea of where that revenue is headed. But it's not going to get up. It's not going to get to where it was.
Right.
We all recognize that. I mean, we're definitely going to take a haircut off of what we were. Obviously, there's the project on Broadway. From my conversations with my parking staff and my own observation, there is less traffic on streets in those areas. So.
All right. Thank you, John. And thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
John, 2021 budget's approaching. You want to kind of let us know where we stand on that? I know it's early, but.
We're vigorously meeting with departments and having budget meetings. We're still in the development phase of that. Can't let the cat out of the bag too early, Doug. But we're working hard on it. We're having meetings all day, pretty much every day this week.
We know you are. So pretty soon we'll be able to issue a schedule on the hearings and budget meetings, et cetera, which probably start going into high gear in late October, right?
Yeah, you'll have the budget in October, and then you schedule the public hearing, and then we would schedule meetings thereafter. Yeah.
Okay.
I would expect it to be on a very similar schedule as in past years.
Okay. Thank you, John. Are there any other items, questions, comments, whatever? Which case I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Rennie?
Motion.
To adjourn.
Motion.
Second, Michelle Hirsch, all in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you, Andrea, for putting all this together from wherever you are on post.
I apologize again for my technical difficulties, and I hope I'll be back.